years, I never have. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution. May God have mercy upon you.
Can I please have my mom before I go? Please, let me just love my mom. I love you. I love you too. And I love you too. Can I please have my mom before I go?
This is 19-year-old Krista Pike, seen here in a Tennessee court. Pike is facing charges for murder. Pike's madness started in January 1995 when she lured 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer out of her dormitory and into the woods. Pike was jealous of Slemmer and erroneously thought that she wanted to steal her boyfriend. For this, Pike corroborated with her boyfriend, 17-year-old Tatteril Ship, and her friend, 18-year-old Shadola Peterson. Together, she and her boyfriend assaulted and tortured Slemmer, while Peterson acted as a lookout. Not satisfied with the assault, Pike took an asphalt and hit Slemmer until she stopped breathing.
An autopsy confirmed she was slashed repeatedly with a meat cleaver and some other small cutting device, perhaps a razor blade or box opener. Authorities say she was then beaten over the head with a large chunk of asphalt from this pile.
She and her boyfriend then took turns carving a pentagram across her chest.
She had a massive circle with a star, upside down star called a pentagram. And if you don't know what a pentagram is, that's the upside down star in a circle, and it represents the goat head of Satan.
I thought they just were scared at first from the jump. That's what I thought. But we got up there, everything changed.
There was a picture that was cut on her chest. Who did that?
I didn't have that.
All right, don't tell me what it was.
It was satanic stuff.
She then took a piece of her skull as a trophy.
She had a piece of the skull wrapped up in a napkin in her coat pocket. That's a trophy to show that that piece she had fit exactly as a piece of puzzle in the skull.
The group then went back to their dormitory, but the next day, her body was found and police swarmed the area. Following investigations, the teenagers were arrested. With everyone panicking about the murder and the pentagram on Slemmer, the police had to address the media.
It did not involve a university student. It did not occur on the bike trail. It was not a random or a stranger-to-stranger incident. The motive of the crime appears to be a love triangle. It appears that both of the females involved had been involved with the 17-year-old male.
But it wasn't a love triangle. Slemmer was not interested in Pike's boyfriend. According to reports, Pike was just jealous. She readily admitted to luring Slemmer out to deal with her.
I wanted to get her off campus, and I had every intention of fighting her.
She revealed more grisly details of the crime.
You know, it's harder to hurt somebody when they're talking to you and you have to stand by the person. Right. And I told her, shut up. Jim hit her and she was still breathing. I said, Colleen, do you know who's doing this to you? And she was just going, just talking like that. But I don't know what she was saying.
During her trial, the defense pointed out that she had a rough and abusive childhood, and that must have influenced her actions. But Pike herself noted that she knew what she was doing.
I knew exactly what I was doing. Everything that I did that night, I knew what I was doing. And I think I was taking things out on her that had happened to me years ago.
In the end, Pike was found guilty on all counts and handed the death penalty.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution in the mode prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to the custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Women. And further, on the 12th day of January 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by sufficient current of electricity. May God have mercy upon you.
She couldn't stop her tears after she left the court.
Mr. Bates, take Mr. Pike into the dock.
Can I please have my mom before I go?
Mr. Bates, please hold Ms. Pike in the dock.
Please, let me just find my mom.
Please hold Ms. Pike in the dock.
I love you. I love you too. I love you too.
Pike's boyfriend, the man she supposedly went through all this for, was sentenced to a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Peterson was handed a 6-year probation. Pike is still on death row.
Krista Pike has tried on 3 separate occasions on both state and federal levels to get off of death row, but they've all failed. That's not stopping her and her legal team from giving it another try. Colleen's family says more than 25 years later, they're still looking for closure.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all, another convict surpasses Krista Pike's wild behavior. Enter 23-year-old Pedro Espinoza, who's in a California court on murder charges.
He needs the biggest punishment they can get is the death penalty, and from that day on, he can rot in hell. Thank you.
In March 2008, 17-year-old Jamil Shah was fatally shot by Pedro Espinoza, a member of the 18th Street Gang.
Well, when we go kill you, we're gonna send a couple of guys down there, really make a mess of you. The execution style is a really beautiful way to do it, because that sends out a message.
The shooting occurred after Espinoza saw Shaw walking home carrying a red bag and mistakenly assumed he was a rival gang member. To make matters worse, Espinoza was only just released from prison. In an emotional interview, Shaw's father recounted the tragic events that led to his son's death.
He was on the phone talking to his girlfriend as he was walking down the street, and she heard the guy walked up to him and they asked him, "What set are you from?" Or like, "What gang you from?" He didn't answer, and they shot him. He's not a gangbanger. He doesn't gangbang. He doesn't do none of that.
Espinoza was subsequently arrested. In court, his cousin Javier testified about his activities.
When you talked to the police, did you tell them, in fact, that Pedro talked to you that night, March the 2nd, about a football player that was killed, as shown on the news?
No, sir.
In fact, did you tell the detectives that Pedro told you that night that he did it?
I did say that, sir, but I did it for a reason.
But you did say that?
I did say that. But not literally because of the news thing. Nah, I said it because they were threatening me. They were threatening me, talking about it. That I killed a person, that I was involved with it, and that I was going to face like 20 plus years in the feds in the state penitentiary.
Who told you that?
Detective Carrillo.
Didn't you actually say to the detective that he told me he did it? I saw it on TV. Didn't you make that statement?
I did see it on TV way before everything started. I heard about it even before what's it called, before the police even came to my house. So I already knew what had happened to that student.
The prosecution asked pointed questions about his previous statement to the police.
Didn't you tell the police that Pedro told you, "I killed the Twinkie" that night when you were watching it on the news?
I did tell the police, but I never told them. I seen it on TV. That was all a lie. That was just like a story I made up.
Didn't you say during that same interview that he did it with a gun?
That was the same thing I said.
Did you say specifically, "He just told me he killed him"? Didn't you say that?
I did say that.
After weeks of debates, Espinoza was found guilty. Before sentencing, Shaw's uncle and nephew spoke to him.
The days when I was growing up, it was basically you use your fists. You don't just go and kill somebody cold blood. It's the coward's way out.
Shaw's parents also took the stand. The mother, a U.S. Army sergeant, made it clear that she couldn't forgive Espinoza's actions.
I find myself, I'm not that strong of a Christian because I can't turn around and say, I forgive you for killing my son.
You should thank God. If you have your family intact and your kids and you're loving them and you're doing things, thank God for that. Because there's people like that, don't give a damn.
Espinoza was promptly handed a death sentence.
It is the judgment and sentence of this court that for the crime of murder in the first degree, committed under the special circumstance that the defendant intentionally killed Jamil Shaw II, the defendant, Pedro Espinoza, shall be put to death within the walls of the California State Prison at San Quentin in the manner prescribed by law. upon a date to be fixed by this court in a warrant of execution, at which time and place you shall then put to death Pedro Espinosa in the manner prescribed by law.
The gang member is still awaiting his execution. However shocking Pedro Espinosa's actions were, it doesn't compare to the actions of 29-year-old Marlon Joseph, who is facing charges for double murders in Florida.
Son, I love you. You know I love you, but can you please just turn yourself in? You have to do this.
In December 2017, Kalada Crowell and her 11-year-old daughter, Kyra Inglet, were fatally shot by Marlon Joseph after tensions had risen between Kyra and Joseph's daughter. It all began with a text message. On the day of the murders, Joseph's daughter informed him about an incident with Kyra. When Joseph arrived, a heated argument broke out between him and Kyra's mother, and he shot her. 11-year-old Kyra tried to escape, but Joseph chased her down and shot her multiple times. He went into hiding for days before finally being apprehended.
The police find Joseph, apprehend him, and take him into custody.
During sentencing, the judge spoke about the sheer terror 11-year-old Kyra must have felt. She had witnessed her mother being shot and knew the killer was coming after her next. Joseph was sentenced to death following the jury's recommendation.
Marlon Maurice Joseph, you have not only forfeited your right to live among us, but under the laws of the state of Florida, you have forfeited your right to live at all. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered and adjudged as to count 1 for the first-degree murder of Kalada Crowell, Marlon Maurice Joseph shall be delivered into the custody of the Florida Department of Corrections at the Florida State Prison. You shall be confined there until a date certain selected by the governor of the state of Florida, and on that date you shall be executed in a method provided by Florida law. Marlon Maurice Joseph, may God have mercy on your soul. This court is now in recess.
Joseph showed no signs of remorse for what he had done, and now waits on death row for his execution. But Marlon Joseph isn't alone in his crazy actions. However, it's nothing compared to the explosive actions of 18-year-old Michael Bargo, who's facing murder charges in Florida.
15-year-old is beaten, then shot to death, his body burned to get rid of any evidence.
In 2011, Bargo and 4 of his friends lured 15-year-old Seth Jackson to a house in Summerfield. The group assaulted and battered Jackson. When he tried to escape, they dragged him back and continued their assault.
A 15-year-old child knew he was being dragged back into a house and was going to die.
Eventually, Bargo shot him multiple times at point-blank range.
So he hit him over the back of the head with a 2x4, and then they lifted him up, put him in a recliner, and then started basically talking trash to him. And then he said when he was tired of it, he pulled out a gun, just shot him 3 times.
The group then burnt the body and disposed of the bones in a water-filled quarry.
Bargo and 4 others beat and shot Jackson to death 8 years ago. The group burned his body and disposed of it in paint buckets, which were dumped into a water-filled quarry.
In court, Bargo denies any involvement despite multiple testimonies labeling him as the mastermind behind the murder.
You really hurt your knee chasing Seth when he escaped out of the house, didn't you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, were you the one on the porch yelling, "Get him," then?
I wasn't there when that happened.
So at some point on this walk, you told him, "Hey, I'm not helping you do this anymore. My knee hurts, I'm gonna stop," right?
No.
You just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
That you stopped, you called the police, you didn't assist them? You didn't do any of those things?
No.
You helped them?
I carried a cinder block to the fence. They climbed over with it.
Because you told them to. You testified on direct. You told them to throw the buckets over the cliff, down the rock wall.
Well, they're going to do it. That'd be the way to do it.
Okay. So you were helping them out. You were taking Kyle's advice if you were going to be with them. Then after you dispose of Seth's body, after it's dumped in the quarry, you go to Publix, get some beer, and you start drinking.
Yeah. It was pretty stressful.
All right. Kristen, you go to her house before you go to Stark?
I did.
All right. You'd say you told her somebody got shot with a gun.
Somebody got shot with my gun.
With my gun, okay. And your girlfriend of 1.5 years, Kristen, misunderstood you and thought you said, "I shot a kid."
Said somebody got shot with my gun.
Right. But that's not what she says.
I never told her I shot somebody.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. She misunderstood what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Your girlfriend of 1.5 years mistook that.
The prosecution brought Bargo's friends to testify to his involvement in the crime.
Himself shot him.
In the yard?
In the yard multiple times. He had drug him back in the house, placed him in the bathtub, and had beat him some more, and shot him twice in the face. He said that they had placed it in a sleeping bag and built a fire. Can I have a moment, please?
But the defense claimed that he was mentally sick during the crime.
He was not taking any medication for any of the mental illnesses that he had been diagnosed with.
Fortunately, their claim did not move the jury.
The jury unanimously find that the defendant, Michael Shane Bargo Jr., should be sentenced to death, yes.
In the end, he was handed the death penalty, and his group were all sentenced to life. But this wasn't the only time a teenager committed an atrocious crime. Take, for example, the case of Austin Myers, who was in an Ohio court for murder.
He just killed one of my old friends in front of me, and he had a gun in his pocket, and I didn't know what.
After hearing him trying to sell me out and make me look like I did everything, how would I know about the safe? How would I know about the money? Why would I kill someone in cold blood? And he told me about it.
In January 2014, Myers and his friend Timothy Mosley planned to rob the Back family. But when they saw that their friend Justin Back was around, they fatally stabbed him, with Mosley delivering the fatal injury.
Myers is one of two men who strangled and stabbed 18-year-old Justin Back last January.
The two friends had been planning the robbery for days, and had even bought a steel cable the previous day to eliminate anyone who would tamper with their plans.
We had the video recordings where he's going and purchasing the murder weapon. You'd be hard-pressed to find a case where there was more prior calculation than what you had in this particular case.
When their friends were interrogated, Myers denied everything and put the blame on Mosley, despite masterminding the whole plot.
Tell me what happened from Monday night on, what transpired that led up to this.
So we went back on Tuesday.
And what was your intent when you went back to the house?
Just the same thing as I said before.
You think you're going just to hang out? You didn't have any other intent of taking anything?
No, I didn't have any intent of taking anything.
You ever asked him why this suddenly happened?
I didn't want to try to talk about it because he just killed one of my old friends in front of me, and he had a gun in his pocket, and I didn't know what. Tim said it'd be a good idea if we made it look like a runaway or something. If we had ended up wrapping him up in a blanket, put him in the trunk, after we put him behind a tree with the blanket on. They shot him twice.
Mosley overheard his statements and got annoyed. He promptly told the detectives what they wanted to know and took a plea deal that involved testifying against Myers.
After hearing him trying to sell me out and make me look like I did everything, it's bullshit. How would I know about the safe? How would I know about the money? Why would I kill someone in cold blood? And he told me about it.
What did he tell you?
He told me about Justin's house and his stepdad, saying he has a safe, he keeps it cracked open, and he has a gun and a lot of money.
How much money did you think was going to be there?
Also said it'd be a couple thousand. So we were thinking, a quick job, in and out, boom, might make some money. And then we came up with the plan of taking out Justin, because in the way.
So he's the brains of the operation,
Pretty much. I was following.
You're the muscle.
Pretty much.
Never felt like you hit bone or anything like where it was tough? It was just
in and out.
Really?
I had enough time. I stabbed him.
Whose idea was the septic enzymes?
Austin Myers.
We poured on the body in order to decompose of the body fasting.
The plan was choke him out, clean, no blood.
Right.
I got him like right on the chin.
Okay.
So I started to freak out. I'm just like, shit, this isn't going as planned. I don't know what to do. It's too late to fucking take it back.
Right.
So, not knowing what else to do, I pulled out my knife because it was right in my pocket. I had my cargo shorts on, and I started stabbing him in the back.
When Myers noticed that his plans were not working, he confessed.
He says you're the one that pulled the trigger on the gun, and he's already dead. I mean, so all I want to know is I want to know the truth. He says you shot him, and are you very convincing? Did you shoot the gun, or did he?
I did.
Huh?
In court, Myers addressed the jury before they left to deliberate.
I can only imagine the pain and loss felt by Mark and Sandy Cates, and by Jacob Back, Justin's brother. I have brothers and sisters myself. I can only imagine what it would be like to lose one of them. I'm sorry that this happened. I know that doesn't bring Justin back, but I'm sorry. I wish I could go back in time and stop this before it even happened, but I can't. I hate for any family to go through such pain and suffering as this. To lose your son, I can't imagine. To lose your brother. If you choose for me to die, it's only going to cause more pain and suffering for another family, not me. It won't hurt me. I won't feel anything. It's going to hurt more innocent people. If you kill me, it won't fix anything. It won't bring Justin back. It's only going to hurt more innocent people. I don't want to hurt people. I'm not asking you to spare my life so I can hurt anyone. I want to help people. Stop tragedies like this from happening. All I'm asking you for is a chance for me to become a better person.
Before Myers could be sentenced, Justin Back's mother told him how his actions affected her and the whole family.
Austin could have stopped it, but tells Justin it's okay. It's almost over. You could have changed your mind many times, but you didn't. Especially when Justin was begging for his life.
Justin's father also spoke directly to Myers.
I'm not going to stand up here and tell you how much I hate you. That is without question. I would just hope that every time you close your eyes at night, you see my son Justin.
Before the judge could announce his sentence, Myers begged for his life.
No, I've made a horrible mistake. I'm only 19 years old. I think there's a lot of good things I can do with my life if you allow me to keep my life.
In the end, Myers couldn't escape his punishment.
The defendant does not understand how precious life is. We therefore unanimously find the sentence of death be imposed upon Austin Myers.
While Myers awaits execution, Mosley was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, Austin Myers wasn't the first teenager to do something incredibly cruel, like in the case of Dylan Roof, a South Carolina teenager who was in court for multiple murders.
So you shoot him?
Yes.
What kind of gun did you use?
A Glock 45.
In the summer of 2015, Roof quietly entered the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, blending in with the attendees of a Bible study session.
Roof accused of committing one of the deadliest attacks on a place of worship in United States history. At 8 p.m. Wednesday night, he enters the historic Mother Emmanuel AME Church. Witnesses say he joined the prayer group, sitting with church members for nearly an hour.
Once inside, Roof opened fire, fatally shooting 9 people. All African Americans.
21-year-old Dylan Roof allegedly opened fire in one of the most famous black churches in the South.
Many of the victims killed grandparents in their 70s and 80s.
The following day, Roof was apprehended and taken into custody.
The suspect in Wednesday night's deadly church massacre now in custody.
Roof's crime was motivated by racist ideologies, and the shooting caused so much uproar that President Obama had to address the nation.
This took place in a black church, obviously also raises questions about a dark part of our history. This is not the first time that black churches have been attacked.
In the course of their investigations, police found his racist writings and a list of black churches he planned to attack.
Prosecutors laid out his racially inflammatory writings, photos of the Confederate flag, and a potential hit list of other churches found in his car.
During questioning, Roof admitted his crime.
Went to that church in Charleston, and
So you shoot him?
Yes.
What kind of gun did you use?
A Glock 45.
Roof showed just how much he didn't care with his worrying lack of remorse.
I did it.
You did what? Well, I know it's tough sometimes to say.
It's not that I don't want to say it because I don't want to make myself seem guilty. I just don't really like saying.
But I know sometimes we have to face those things, the realities.
What it exactly is that you did do?
Well, I killed him. Oh, well, I guess. I don't really know.
So you shoot him?
Yes.
During his trial, prosecutors proved that Roof was a white supremacist.
In the sick world of white supremacists, the number 8 has come to represent the 8th letter of the alphabet, H. So 88 means HH, and it refers to Heil Hitler, Nazi Germany's salute to the madman Adolf Hitler. The number 88 was also emblazoned across a t-shirt worn by Dylan Roof.
They also showed that he had scoped out the church beforehand and had even practiced his shooting skills.
Jurors are getting to see this admitted racist and accused killer at target practice. Police say 22-year-old Dylan Roof recorded himself at home using the same .45 caliber Glock he's accused of using in the shootings at this historic black church.
In the end, There was only one sentence for such a mindless act. Roof was sentenced to death. However, it's not the first time a convict thoughtlessly took the life of others, just like what happened in the notorious case of Devin Erickson and Alec McKinney, who are facing murder charges in Colorado.
Inside that school shooting in Colorado, the two suspects, both students, 9 students shot, one of them killed as he rushed the gunman. Children from kindergarten to 12th grade inside that school, their distraught parents waiting for word that they were safe.
On the 7th of May, 2019, 18-year-old Erickson and 16-year-old McKinney shot up a school in Douglas County. They injured 8 students and fatally shot 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo, a brave student who tried to stop the madness.
His family telling reporters that Kendrick once said if there was ever a school shooter, he wouldn't think twice about acting.
Kendrick Castillo, along with his classmates Joshua Jones and Brendan Biley, displayed remarkable bravery by confronting Erickson as his gun jammed, effectively stopping the shooting.
Complete disregard for his own safety. He was immediately there to respond. He was immediately on the shooter, and he was ready to end the threat.
Brandon Miali, a Marine recruit, was one of the boys who lunged towards the shooter.
There was fear. I still look back at it, and I still feel a bit of fear when I think back to it. But after that point, it is just doing what I thought I should do.
With their help, officers rushed in and arrested them, with Erickson admitting that he was forced into doing the crime.
The dramatic scenes show a race to stop the shooters. Here, Alec McKinney is seen on the ground and searched. Several bullets were found. Near the same time, another group of law enforcement officers enters. Meantime, Douglas County Sergeant Joe White was seen rescuing student Jerry Montoya, taking him out of the school. A video was played in court as a detective recorded a brief interview with Devin Erickson just after the shooting took place.
How many shooters do you have? Two. There's two, yeah. Why? He was making me give him a bunch of stuff, and then there's me. Okay. I was just supposed to watch it.
In court, McKinney refuted the idea that he forced Erickson into the shooting.
I believe we share equal responsibility for everything that happened.
Why?
No one tried to stop anyone. No one forced anyone into this. We were both mutually agreeing. Kind of the pushing point to going through with the plan we had talked about previously.
During the sentencing hearing, Erickson's grandfather spoke in court.
The Devin we knew was not the Devin you've heard about here today. He's a loving, caring, absolutely outstanding person. He made a big mistake, yes, but he's a great guy.
The sister also talked about the brothers she remembered.
First off, I do want to give my sincere condolences to the victims and their families. I truly know that Devin fully regrets what happened on that tragic day. The Devin I know has always had a very kind heart. He has only given me and my family the most caring love in the world, and I wish more than anything that this never happened. I know in my heart that this was not him. I love you forever, Devin, and I miss you every day.
For the father, the whole incident was devastating.
Like most people, I want to start with apologies and sympathies to the people who were heavily, well, some very, very heavily impacted, especially the Castillo family. Losing their son, I don't know how anybody can ever understand what that could be like. We try to, but it's impossible to know what it's like to lose your son, especially if it's your only son. I'm sure their hearts are ripped apart, and we heard that they still are. We hope someday that they will be able to heal this. We all know that this was just a senseless tragedy, and we do hope, though, that somewhere in the future that they will be healed from this.
He called the names of the injured students to remember them.
I want to recognize each one by name because it's important to us that we recognize the people who are impacted by this. So I'll start with Lucas Albertoni, Stephen Bartoni, Jackson Gregory, Mitchell Krause, Joshua Jones, Gerardo Montoya Ojeda, Thomas Saya, and Alexander Watford. Those are people that I don't know how they will ever forget what happened to them, and they'll have physical and emotional scars for the rest of their lives, and we're so sorry for that.
Devin's mother also addressed the judge.
I am so very sorry to Mr. and Mrs. Castillo for the loss of their son, Kendrick. I am a parent, and I cannot begin to imagine the pain of losing a child. I know you both have holes in your hearts that will never, ever, ever be filled. And please, please know that we do care. And we have been praying for you both, as well as everyone else, since the beginning.
In the end, Erickson was handed a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Mr. Erickson, I'm sure you know this. When a person is convicted of crimes like the ones that you committed, they are so serious that the sentence must be at least the midpoint of the presumptive range, not more than twice the maximum sentence. Many of these must run consecutive. Many may run consecutive. Everyone's pointed out this is a life without parole sentence, so you won't be completing this sentence. And when you do, you will not be committing criminal offenses. There's also no part of this sentence that I can impose that's going to repair the harm that you did that day, that's going to help these folks walk out of this courtroom and say, I feel better now. And yet, another factor for me to consider is to punish a convicted offender by assuring the imposition of a sentence he deserves in relation to the seriousness of his offense. So what you do with the rest of your life in prison, that's not on me, that's on you.
While McKinney received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 20 years because he's a minor. However, could the case of Brandon Bradley be considered a little bit crazier? Bradley is facing murder charges for fatally shooting a police officer in Florida.
Accused of stealing items from a Melbourne hotel.
On March 26, 2012, Bradley and his girlfriend stole some items from a hotel. When Deputy Sheriff Barbara Pill confronted him, he shot her multiple times, ending her life.
She had pulled him over for stealing a few items from a motel and was shot point blank 4 times.
He then fled, but was later captured. In court, his girlfriend testified to his motives.
He was continuing to ask her, why are you going to shoot me? What did I do for you to shoot me? Why are we being pulled over? Why do I need to step out of the vehicle?
The prosecution pointed out that the shooting was deliberate and intentional.
That Brandon Bradley told her, you see me, I'm not going to prison. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to prevent her from sending me to prison if I have to shoot and track her.
But the defense disagreed. They claimed that Bradley had been high on narcotics and wasn't himself.
And that could have been concluded marijuana, Xanax, ecstasy, pretty much you name it, we were involved. They were not in the right frame of mind. She got no explanation for that.
However, an expert toxicologist testified that the evidence doesn't support their conclusion.
And you can't use this blood test done hours later to establish that. It's not possible.
Bradley was found guilty and sentenced to death.
Murder for the unlawful killing of Deputy Barbara Pill. For this crime, the court sentences you to be put to death in the manner prescribed by law.
But following a Supreme Court sentence, his sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. While it was clear that Brandon Bradley is severely messed up, his actions are similar to that of Marcus Fishburne, who's facing charges for murder in Florida.
The body of 25-year-old Asia Levy was found in a closet at the Green Tree Place Apartments last Friday.
In December 2019, Fishburne fatally stabbed his roommate's girlfriend, 25-year-old Aisha Levy. Fishburne was staying with the friend and his girlfriend when he went crazy and attacked the girl. He then wrapped her body and hid it in the closet.
25-year-old Aisha Levy. She was dating his roommate, who discovered blood and bleach inside their Bay Meadows apartment last week. Police found her body wrapped in plastic in a container in the closet there. Cops arrested Fishburne at a Greyhound bus station downtown. Fishburne was recently arrested for attacking his own father, a dad in disbelief.
He's not the type of person to just look at someone and just go off on them. It's like something had to go on that we don't know anything about.
Fishburne had a violent past and had already assaulted his past girlfriends.
A woman filed a restraining order against Fishburne, claiming he was violent and forced her to have sex with him. Records show he has several arrests in Indiana for 2 different battery charges and evasion of privacy.
While awaiting sentencing in jail, Fishburne stabbed another inmate.
Thick scar on his neck, and said the confrontation occurred after Fishburne stole items from his jail cell. Fishburne denied stealing anything, saying Stripling is a member of the cutthroat jail gang who was threatening him.
In court, he claimed it was for self-defense.
Damn, you ain't have to cut it. That's all I'm saying. You ain't have to cut it.
How did you feel at the time he touched you? I felt like I had to defend myself, whether or not.
The jury found him guilty, and now it's time he learns his sentence.
This court finds that death is the appropriate penalty for the defendant, given the highly egregious nature of this crime.
Fishburne is still awaiting his execution. While some may attribute Fishburne's actions to mental illness, it pales in comparison to the unfathomable behavior of 15-year-old Kenneth Young, who's in a Florida court on murder charges.
As much as I know that he wants to be released, I'm not ready to have him walking around where I live, and I'm not moving.
In mid-2000, 14-year-old Young participated in multiple armed robberies after his mother's crack dealer threatened to murder him if he didn't join in. The group had went and robbed several stores at gunpoint over the course of 30 days. Next year, Young was sentenced to 4 life sentences, even though nobody was shot or killed during the robbery. In 2010, the Supreme Court ruled that juveniles should not be handed a life sentence. Due to this ruling, Young was back in court for resentencing. In court, his attorney pointed out his age at the time of the crime and how much he had changed.
Kenneth was 14 years old at the time of the first offense, and all 4 offenses occurred within a 30-day time period. What the state must do is give defendants like Graham some meaningful opportunity to obtain release based on demonstrated maturity and rehabilitation. We're going to show today that Kenneth Young has demonstrated maturity and rehabilitation. And that is what the heart of this resentencing is all about.
He pointed out that juveniles are easily manipulated by adults and called a criminal psychologist to testify.
Now, based on your evaluations, what is the psychological significance that Kenneth was only 14 and 15 years old at the time of the offenses?
Juveniles are different, one, in terms of their susceptibility to persuasion and their ability to be led by others. Second way they're different. Adolescents take less of a concern and are less able to understand others' perspectives. They're more self-focused. And many people who have adolescents kind of realize that during their teenage years.
Young even assured the judge that he had turned a new leaf.
First and foremost, Your Honor, I want to take the time out and say I take full responsibility for my actions and my role in these crimes. I have lived with regret every day as a civilized human being for these crimes. I have been incarcerated for 11 years, and I have taken advantage of every opportunity available for me in prison to better myself. I have been a model prisoner while being incarcerated. I have been in educational programs. I have taken care of elderly inmates. I have worked with mental inmates. Also, I have learned that the condition of your mind creates the condition of your ways. So I strive every day for good standards. I am no longer the same person I used to be. I have people who believe in me, and most of all, family who supports me. 1 Corinthians chapter 33, verse 11 say, when I was a child, I thought I was a child, but when I became a man, I put away all childish things. I want to turn around and apologize to my victim for what I did. I take full responsibility, and I apologize for that. Thank you, Your Honor.
The devastated mother begged for his son to be released.
Please, Your Honor, help me put my family back together.
But the victims of the robbery have not gotten over the trauma of that incident.
How long was the gun held to your head?
It didn't seem like it was that long, but it was long enough.
Now, are the assailants saying anything to you?
Oh yeah, they are wanting to know where the safe is, where's the money. You need to tell us, otherwise, some explicatives, your butt, the whole thing.
Tell us what they said, man.
Really?
I want to hear it word for word.
Well, they wanted to know where the damn money was. If we didn't tell them, they were going to shoot our ass. They were, kicking us. One of them actually put the gun on my head. I had a bruise for days. I had photos of it I can't find.
Ma'am, what are you thinking at the point that you have this gun to your head?
God and I are good. Well, I went through a checklist that fast. God and I are good. When they say your life flashes before your eyes, it does. As much as I know that he wants to be released, I'm not ready to have him walking around where I live, and I'm not moving.
In the end, the judge resentenced him to 30 years.
You will not get it, sir, because you do not deserve it.
After a review, the sentence was reduced to 21 years. While Young's actions could certainly be dismissed as an effect of juvenile actions, the same can't be said for the case of Seth South, who is facing charges for double murder in Washington.
South is accused of stabbing his 2 half-brothers to death inside their home in Poulsbo on Wednesday.
I can give the answer now. Nobody would disagree with me.
In October 2024, South called the police and reported that his brothers, 16-year-old Sebastian and 17-year-old Scotty, were dead. He readily admitted to killing them. The police eventually caught up with him as he was trying to escape.
Driver, show me your hands! Hands out the window! Keep your hands out the window! If you reach in that car, I'm gonna shoot you. Do you understand me?
Step out. Get on the ground.
On the ground, on the ground, on the ground.
In court, his attorney claimed he was mentally incompetent and should be in a hospital.
Lawyers asked for a mental competency evaluation. The prosecution stating the 23-year-old was a risk to himself and others.
The defendant, for the reasons stated, is an extreme risk of murder to another brother that is at large in our community.
As if to prove that he's mentally ill, he interrupted the judge.
I can give the answer right now.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the next...
Nobody would disagree with me.
And even turned to leave the court.
It's accomplished.
During Thursday's court appearance, South attempted to make multiple comments. He even tried walking away before correction officers grabbed him, keeping him in place.
Luckily, the officers restrained him. If found guilty, South will likely get the death penalty. Let's not forget the shocking incident involving Russell Burrell, who's facing murder charges in Rhode Island.
You took the life of her son, my grandson, for what? I don't desire revenge, but I do ask for justice and to impose the maximum penalty as the law allows.
On a tragic day in July 2012, 16-year-old Burrell, without any provocation, fatally shot 3 people in a housing complex.
He shot and killed 3 people in July of 2012 in Providence. 22-year-old Shamika Barrows, her boyfriend, 23-year-old Michael Martin, and a friend of theirs, 22-year-old Damian Cologne.
During the trial, the prosecution told the court how everything happened.
Bullets fired by Russell Burrell struck and killed both Michael Martin and Damian Cologne. As Russell Burrell was firing at Mr. Martin and Mr. Cologne in the kitchen, Shamika Barrows woke up from the couch in the living room.
In a touching moment, one of the victim's grandmothers addressed Burrell.
You took the life of her son, my grandson, for what? You committed a horrible, evil act, murdering 3 precious persons, resulting from your sick soul. I don't desire revenge, but I do ask for justice and to impose the maximum penalty as the law allows.
The victim's mother also had some words for him.
Every day comes with the struggle of having to walk past his bedroom door. Another day that she'll pass without hearing his voice or seeing a smile that would light up a room. There's a void and a hole and an emptiness in my life that will never be filled.
Burrell received a life sentence.